Hello, people of the internet, it's Amanda. And a couple of months ago, I think, I did a talk through video slash partial reaction video to the first episode of Arashi's Netflix documentary Voyage. And the thing with that is, one, it was just super exciting to see an actual, Japanese idol, Japanese entertainment documentary on an actual legal platform like Netflix. So that was one thing. And then another thing is, of course, if you're a Japanese entertainment fan for, I don't know, for a long time, then you've probably heard of Arashi, or definitely just either of any of their members, specifically also like Matsujun, considering that his work has been iconic with Gokusen, Hanayori Dango, you get the idea. So it's just hard to talk about today's Japanese entertainment industry without any references to Arashi itself, especially with all the records that they've had as artists and as a group throughout their 20-year activeness in the industry. Never really revisited the other episodes in my channel, even if I was watching it bit by bit, because I figured, you know what, I've talked about the first episode, and so far it's just really more of a personable experience of just finding out all these things about the group, especially since this documentary is meant to show the journey that they're having in their last year before they go on hiatus. But for some reason, episode 11, which is focused on turning up, it's one of their newest songs that they released back when they launched on social media, which is such a big deal considering that a lot of international fans were just shocked by the entire thing. When they this particular episode 11, focuses on how they created that. They had the whole team coordinate with a team in America, and they shot some of the parts of the music video there, and it was just interesting to find out what really went on behind the scenes for that particular development, because what they're trying to aim for that particular video is to really launch Arashi as a group and Japanese entertainment and J-pop in general into a more international audience-ship. Now, from here, I just figured that it's interesting to just share my thoughts on it. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to share very specific screen caps considering that Netflix doesn't allow it. So I'll probably just be flashing a couple of photos from the from what I got off what I'm gonna get off the internet, and at the same time the turning up music video itself. But one thing that that stood out to me the most is, number one, and they've addressed this later on into the episode, where at the end of the day, music and entertainment, it's not exactly about just language, and we've proven it with people now, even in the West, enjoying music from the East, and not just J-pop, but even the success of K-pop abroad. And just the idea of that, it definitely explains how emotions can be conveyed, even if it's cross-cultural or the language is very different. And that is really saying something about, I don't know, just how fascinating the human mind and the human connection works. And for this one, what I like the most specifically about this is that Arashi, they didn't really try too hard in a way. They just went with their usual process, where they use their own language in coordinating with foreign producers at that. And sometimes you would expect that if you're a local act that's trying to make it internationally, you would hold back a little bit and let these guys, also do their own thing because it's their turf. But from what I've noticed with Arashi specifically and how they treated this entire thing, it's not that at all. It's not we're gonna adjust for that audience, but it's more of we want the audience to get a taste of what our J-pop is like. And I was just in awe of that entire thing. A lot of people on Twitter have been talking about that specific moment where Matsujun was just he went on full 30% of him to just call out the team when they were playing the wrong music. And in the end of the episode, they were talking about it, like how everyone sort of like just got tense. What I like about it is that the other members were just so chill about the entire thing. Like they know how he works as someone who's really on the dot with the details when it comes to the activities or the production for Arashi. And for them, it was just more of like a normal occurrence. And they didn't sort of like call him out on it, but it was more of like supporting the idea that he was just doing his thing. And I really like that because of how of the one, it shows their bond. Like I mean, to me, that's kizuna personified between the five of them. Like you can see that they've known how Matsujun operates for the longest time, ever since they formed this group, and at the same time, like he also knows just how much this all means to them. And it wasn't like they were going to hold off or gonna be just very chill about it or very lenient about it or tolerating about it just because they're in a foreign turf. But it's really more of like, this is our thing, so you have to follow how we want to present this thing to the world. And I just love that, and it just shows how much this group has really grown into this bond, this camaraderie, this showmanship. Like it was so funny to me because they were so tired, like no makeup breaks or whatsoever in between the dance, like when they were filming, about to film again. Like the performance and the showmanship is shown there. Like the expression quickly shifts into a performer for all of them, and it was like, you know, nothing behind the scenes happened, because once the camera is on, it's all about showing the audience a good time, and it's about performing for their fans the best that they can. And I don't know, like just for me, I feel like it's just something that I want to just talk about further and just express. And it's quite interesting how if they said that that's just Matsujun's 30%, so how else would 100% be? But it just shows just how much they love this particular craft that they're in, this particular industry that they're in, how serious they are towards their goal. And that's one thing that I honestly hope for the newer generation of J-pop, not just within Johnny's, but outside of it. Mainly because, again, I'm a massive fan of Katun. I'm a hyphen for like the longest time. But even if I'm still a fan of like the three remaining members, they've really gone a long way from their 6 members back then, and the dynamic is particularly different then. Like their group, that's why I was attracted to them, is because there's this edginess and very different image as compared to like your usual idol image. And like, but out of all the other groups, considering like from then to now, Arashi is the one that really had this solid foundation of they're still together, they never really faltered, and they're quite successful both as a group and individually. And no matter what their other ventures are, it always clicks, it always works. And that kind of resolve, you know, it doesn't just happen because fans like you. It also happens because of what goes on within the group itself, whether or not it's something that we see in front of the screen or behind it. And it gives me hope that hopefully as seniors, they serve as inspiration to the current groups that are now blooming in the industry. So there's obviously my favorite, Kimpuri, there's Stones, there's Johnny's West, there's Heisei Jump, Sexy Zone, everything. Like aside from their Johnny's kohais, I hope for these groups to have the same solidarity, camaraderie, and just this idea of like resolve to always bring your best to your audience. And the longevity is also something that is really much to hope for. I hope that they admire them to a certain extent that they would want to stick together for like decades, similar to how Arashi was. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's just me maybe just sharing my sentiments about the entire thing, considering that now I'm sort of like back on track with the industry again, and just watching it carefully and being a fan and stuff like that. And I don't know, it's just a very fascinating time. And I don't know, like this episode just gave me a lot of like hopefulness as to what the industry will bring about in the future. And yeah. Anyways, this video has been a waffle ramble fest. You get the idea, but I don't know. Tell me down in the comments below. Have you seen the latest episode of Arashi's Diary Voyage, episode 11? And just tell me down in the comments below what you think of it. Any thoughts or any other idol groups or just artists in general that you're currently watching and hoping for the best, similar to how Arashi is or are in the industry. So yeah, tell me down in the comments below, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and you would want to hear more from me, please hit subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you again soon in a new one.